Hi, everybody. It's Mary from Skokie Public Library, continuing our conversation about banned books. We've talked about the fact that Banned Books Week occurs in September and that it's a chance for us to celebrate this amazing right we have in this country to access any information that we want. And we've talked about the fact that every year there are hundreds of challenges to books that are on library shelves, school library shelves, even bookstore shelves, in which people want books removed because they don't agree with the ideas that are expressed in the books. I thought you might want to know who these people are who are so strenuously objecting to books. And we have a little bit of data on that. The largest group that expresses objections to books are parents. And the reason most commonly given by parents for objecting to a book for their child is that it is unsuitable. Now, the problem with this is that it's certainly the right of a parent to guide their children in what is appropriate for that child to read. The problem comes up when that parent tries to dictate what other children should read. Because what one child may be ready for and need, another child might find objectionable. And that's why censorship is something to be opposed, because when you remove a book from a shelf, no one can read it. Some books that have been challenged and sometimes removed, you might be surprised to learn, are books that you are very familiar with. Goosebumps is a big one by R.L. Stine. A Wrinkle in Time has been challenged and banned. And The Giver by Lois Lowry. Not to mention Harry Potter and even some Dr. Seuss books. And I'm going to talk to you today about a book that Skokie kids really loved. And this is a book that has been the subject of controversy. It's called The Fault in Our Stars, and it's by John Green. You know it's been made into a movie, and if you haven't read the book, you might have seen the movie. So you know that it's the story of a very special love between two teens. The story is narrated by Hazel, who is a 16-year-old girl with cancer. She's had cancer for 3 years, and she knows it's going to kill her. There's no cure. She just doesn't know when. As it is, her lungs have been compromised, and she's forced to go around hooked up to an oxygen tank all the time. And as the book opens, Hazel has decided that there's only one way to deal with this situation, and that is to just withdraw from everything. And that's what she decides she's going to do. She's going to stay home, she's going to watch TV, she's going to leave the house as little as possible, not make any friends, and just wait for the inevitable. Well, Hazel's fate, or stars, have something different in mind for her. She goes, at her mother's begging, to a support group for teens who have cancer, and there she meets a boy named Augustus. He's also a cancer survivor. He's in remission. He's really cute, and against her better judgment, Hazel falls in love with Augustus, and he with her. And a story of love between two teenagers when they both have very serious illness is a very special kind of story. I think the thing that appeals to readers is that all the game playing and artifice is just stripped away because these two don't know how much time they'll have together. So it's a very beautiful story. Bring Kleenex if you haven't read it, because it's a weeper. Now, this book has been not only challenged but banned in middle schools in California. And the reason for the banning is very interesting. Parents brought the challenges. The school board voted 6-1 that the parents were right and removed the book from all middle schools in the district. And the reason was that this book features teenagers suffering from a terminal illness, and that the issue of terminal illness is not something that's appropriate for middle schoolers to be reading about. It may be true that there are middle schoolers that would be very upset by the notion of teens with these serious illnesses. I also think it's true that there are middle schoolers who are ready and can benefit from reading a book like this. And that's why most middle schools in this country and public libraries have this book on their shelves right now, including Skokie Public Library. So this is a case where I think the importance of the book has to be weighed against anything that might be considered a little too old for kids to read. One of the benefits of this book, and one of the reasons that I think it's an important book, is that it creates a lot of empathy for people who may be suffering from things that most readers are not suffering from in middle school or in their teen years. It may help you to see disabled people or people who seem to be ill in a different light. As Hazel Grace says over and over again, I don't want to be seen as my disease. I want to be seen as the whole person that I am. So, here's another book that asks us to stand up against censorship, to read widely, and to celebrate our right to access all information this week and every week of the year.